Okay, so I made you this video to show you how to put this thing back together. It's not a big deal. It's all just stuff you got to bolt on. I'll stop the video a couple times to make a couple of other comments too, but here you go.
Okay, so to protect the gearbox from getting damaged in shipping, it's been removed. And so all the bolts are here. There are two stud things on this right here, so don't lose those. They're right there. This is bolted right here because these are threads. It's not tightened all the way down because it gets really, once it starts pulling these in, it's real tight and hard to get apart. So I'm just leaving it like this. And you can mount it like it was in the auction photos, like this. See those two bolts right there? That's where they go. Now you can also flip this around to get the prop on the other side, and it'll work that way. You just flip it around.
Okay, so let me just point out these two bolts right here. They are there. I can't move this stupid thing. Let me see if this video... I put them in backwards in the gearbox and taped them in to have a place to put them so they wouldn't get lost. Let me let this video play and see if it shows you where.
And these bolts go over here. Okay. Okay, so the intake manifold...
Now, so let me back up the video and get it over there. Right there. Okay, when you get this thing, undo these two bolts on the right hand side so you can split the case apart. And those two bolts are right here in backwards. Okay, so the heads are right here. You need to pull, there's electrical tape holding them in. So take those two bolts out, and then they actually go in this way, okay, into the engine. Those two bolts are what hold this in to the engine, and then these two bottom bolts hold it the rest of the way. So if you wanted to flip it around, of course, then you flip them to the other side. You rotate the whole thing around. They still go in this position here, but they'll go on the other side of the engine case. So make sure you pull those out before you do anything else. And you're going to need a gearbox gasket or some Permatex when you put this thing back together, and gearbox oil.
Stud things on this right here, so don't lose those. They're right there. This is bolted right here because these are threads. It's not tightened all the way down because it gets really, once it starts pulling these in, it's real tight and hard to get apart. So I'm just leaving it like this. And you can mount it like it was in the auction photos, like this. See those two bolts right there? That's where they go. Now you can also flip this around to get the prop on the other side, and it'll work that way. You just flip it around, then these bolts go over here. Okay? Okay, so the intake manifold's been removed to protect it during shipping. The bolts are all taped to it, so you just put it back. The ignition module's been removed for shipping also. You'll see there's a bolt tape there, and a area here taped up too. There might be a bolt in there. No, the bolt's right here. So this is taped up. All you have to do, take these two bolts out, mount this here, okay? Then this is one of the intake bolts with a little thing on it, so that goes there. And there's electrical tape wrapped around one of these. That's the propeller spark plug. Okay, so the one with the tape around it is the propeller spark plug. So it's not a big deal. You just bolt this here, bolt that there, plug in spark plugs. This wire right here that comes from the ignition module, it goes down into here, and there's this little spiral wrap. Just put it in here and put the spiral wrap around it, and there you go. And then it's obvious that the module plugs in here, and the module plugs in here. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that these three wires hanging down go to your voltage regulator. This doesn't have a voltage regulator with it.
So that's all you have to do to put the ignition back on. It's like 3 minutes. Then the pull starter's been removed along with these two little pieces right here. These two little pieces just slide in up here. They're supposedly supposed to hold the spark plug caps on, but I've never found them to work. But that's where they go. The spark plugs will be pulled out before it's shipped also. And then your pull starter is right here, and it's 4 bolts, which I'm leaving in here, and it allows you to mount the pull starter any way you want. So it's not a whole lot of disassembly here. I mean, just slap the gearbox back on the way you want it, put the manifold back on, do the pull starter gas, then just throw the ignition back on here and route it, and you got this bolt here that's part of that, and the intake manifold's part of that. It's not a big deal. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so there's 3 boxes now instead of 2. The engine, pretty much as you see it here, is in 1 box. All that other stuff you just saw is in the 2nd box. And I forgot to put the brand new carburetor in there. It's a Bing 54 from Aircraft Spruce. It was in its own bag and it was on the wrong side of the table, so I didn't see it. So I'm going to ship that out tomorrow morning. So you'll get 3 tracking numbers. I'm going to send you, I have 2 of them right now. The 3rd one will get around noon tomorrow. All right, thanks a lot.